In our small house there were two sons, but you would think there was only one. The first son was named Aid. His name meant crown in our language, and my parents polished this crown every day. They would say, "Aid will be a doctor," or sometimes "Aid will be an engineer." His school reports were framed on the wall. They hung there like shiny medals. Everyone who visited our home heard about Aid. He was the brilliant one, the one who would lift our family name high. He was the sun, and the rest of us simply turned towards his light, hoping to feel some of its warmth. I was the second son. My name is Cheek. It means God's power. But my parents did not see this power. They saw only an average boy. My school reports were not bad, but they were not like Aid's. They were never framed. They were simply folded and kept in a drawer. "Cheek is a good boy," my mother would tell visitors, her voice soft. It was a kind thing to say, but it felt like a sigh. It meant I was not Aid. It meant I was quiet. I did my chores without being told. I did not cause trouble. But in a house that celebrated a bright fire, my small steady flame was hardly noticed. The pressure on Aid was heavy. It was like a thick blanket on a hot day. He had to be the best, always. If he came second in a test, my father would ask, "What did the first person do that you did not do?" There was no room for mistakes, no room for being a child. He studied late into the night. His eyes were often tired. He did not play football with the other boys in the street. He carried the dreams of our parents on his small shoulders, and those dreams were very heavy. He was their investment, their hope for a bigger life, and he felt the weight of it in every single breath he took. Meanwhile, I existed in the shadows cast by my brother's brilliance. It was a comfortable and lonely place. Nobody expected much from me, so I was free. Free to watch the tailor in the market, Mr. Obi. I loved the sound of his sewing machine. The whirring sound was like a song. I loved how he took a simple piece of cloth and made something beautiful. He made agbadas that made men walk taller. He made dresses that made women smile. I would sit in his shop for hours just watching his hands move with purpose. He never shouted, he just worked, his focus a quiet, powerful thing. One afternoon Mr. Obi saw me watching him. I was tracing patterns in the dust with my finger. He smiled a gentle smile. "You like this work, Cheek?" he asked. I nodded, too shy to speak. He gave me a small piece of scrap fabric and a needle. "Try," he said. My first stitches were crooked, they were clumsy, but it felt right. It felt like my hands knew what to do, even if they were not very good at it yet. I spent every afternoon in his shop after that. I learned to thread a needle, I learned to cut the cloth straight, I learned the patience it took to make something that would last. My parents did not understand. "A tailor?" my father asked, his voice full of disappointment. "We are not raising you to be a tailor, Cheek." He wanted me to follow Aid, to go to the university, to get a big job in an office. My mother would say, "It is just a hobby, he will grow out of it." But it was not a hobby, it was a calling. It was the place where I felt seen. Mr. Obi did not compare me to anyone, he just showed me how to hold the scissors. He taught me that a straight seam was a victory. He praised my progress, no matter how small. While Aid's world was filled with books and formulas, my world became filled with textures and colors. I learned the feel of different fabrics. Cotton for the heat, velvet for celebrations. I learned that a good suit was not just about the style. It was about how it made the person feel. It was about the details nobody else could see. The strong stitching inside, the perfect lining. Mr. Obi taught me that true quality is quiet. It does not need to shout, it is simply there, strong and dependable. I was not becoming a doctor, but I was learning to mend things, to create things with care and with precision. I saved the small money I earned from helping Mr. Obi. I bought my own sewing machine. It was an old one, but it was mine. I started making shirts for my friends, then their fathers. My work was neat, it was strong. People started saying, "Go to Chaik, his work is good." They did not say I was brilliant, they said I was reliable. They said I was honest. I did not have a framed certificate on the wall, but I had the trust of people in my community. It was a different kind of success. A quiet success, built one stitch at a time, and it was enough for me. The university accepted Aid. It was a big university in the city. There was a party in our house. My father was so proud. He told everyone, "My son is going to be a doctor." Aid left for the city with new clothes and our family's big dreams packed in his suitcase. The first year, his letters were full of hope. He was doing well, he was top of his class. My father would read these letters aloud, his voice booming with pride. He would look at me and say, "You see, Cheek, that is how to make your family proud." I would nod and go back to my sewing. But the city was a fast place, it was a loud place. The pressure that was a blanket at home became a cage in the city. Aid made new friends. Friends who did not care about books, friends who cared about parties and easy money. His letters became less frequent. When he came home for the holidays, he was different. His eyes were no longer just tired, they were distant. He was thinner. He spent money a student should not have. My parents did not want to see it. They saw their brilliant son, their doctor-to-be. They could not imagine he could ever fall. Then the phone call came. It was late at night. A voice from the city. A cold official voice. Aid was in trouble. Big trouble. He had fallen into debt. He had been involved with the wrong people. The university had asked him to leave. The brilliant son of our family had suddenly gone out. My father's booming voice was gone. He sat in his chair, a small old man. All the pride was gone from his face. My mother cried for days. The framed certificates on the wall now seemed to mock us. They were just pieces of paper. They could not help us now. The family savings were gone. We had spent so much on Aid's education, on his life in the city. Now, we had to pay his debts to keep him safe. The weight of the family's future, once placed on Aid's shoulders, now crashed down on all of us. There was no money for big dreams anymore. There was only the struggle to buy food. The shame was a heavy cloak in our house. The visitors stopped coming. There were no more stories of a brilliant son to tell. There was only a heavy, aching silence. The crown was broken. In the middle of this silence, there was a sound. It was the whirring of my sewing machine. It was a sound that had been in the background for years. Now it was the only sound of work in our house. I worked from morning until night. I took every order I could get. I made school uniforms. I made wedding outfits. I mended old clothes to make them new again. My hands were always busy. My work was steady. It was not brilliant. It was not going to make headlines. But it brought in money. A little at first, then more. Slowly, my quiet work started to support my family. I paid for the food. I paid for the bills. I started to pay back the money Aid owed. I did not do it with a grand gesture. I did it one shirt, one pair of trousers at a time. My father would watch me sometimes. He would not say anything, but his eyes were different. The disappointment was gone. In its place was something new, something that looked like respect. He saw that the son he had overlooked was now the pillar holding up the roof. He saw that strength is not always loud. Aid came home. He was quiet and humbled. He did not know what to do. One day I asked him to help me in the shop, to press the clothes, to organize the threads. At first he was ashamed, but he started to work. He was good with his hands, he was precise. He found a new, quieter purpose. We worked together, the two brothers, the brilliant one and the average one. We were just two men, working to build something together. Our family was not lifted high by a doctor or an engineer, it was saved by a tailor, by the son nobody had bet on. Every child is a seed. You cannot force a mango seed to become an orange tree. You can only give it good soil and water and sunlight. You must have patience. You must trust that it will grow into what it is meant to be. Some seeds sprout quickly, their leaves reaching for the sun. Others take their time. They build strong roots deep in the earth before they show their beauty. But both are valuable. Both have their own purpose. Do not compare your children. Just love them, nurture them, believe in their quiet, steady growth. Success has many different threads, and everyone is beautiful.